Alright, so this is going to be a review of the content that was on the test on Friday that a lot of you guys struggled with. After you watch this video, go ahead and do the worksheet that goes with it. Okay, this problem says make a table and graph f of x equals 1 times 2 to the x. First thing I want you to do is to draw the asymptote. The asymptote will be at 0, so you should have a dashed line going across your x-axis. You're going to have an asymptote at 0 because you have no k value. When you look at this equation, you have y equals 1 times 2 to the x, which is the same as y equals ab to the x plus k. But you don't have a number here, therefore it's 0. That makes your asymptote 0. Please always make sure you draw your dashed line indicating where it is. Next is you taking the values for x and plugging them into the equation with a calculator. Please type this in correctly. It's 1 parentheses 2, the caret button, and then you plug in the numbers for x. So first time will be -2. You just type it right into a calculator and you're going to get 0.25. Then you're going to do the same thing and plug in a -1 and get 0.5. You're going to do it again and plug in 0. You're going to get 1, then you're going to get 2, and then you're going to get 4. Once you have the table filled, then plot the points. -2.25, -1.5, 0, 1, 1, 2, and then 2, 4. Connect your dots, draw your arrows, don't pass your asymptote, and then you can see you have an exponential growth, which you can also tell by looking at your b value. Alright, so this problem is another problem a lot of people had trouble with when trying to write an exponential function from a table. You're writing in the form of y equals ab to the x. A is your y-intercept. Y-intercepts have 0 for the x. Therefore, your y in this problem is 768. That is our a value. Next we need to do is find our b. B is the pattern in the problem. I can see from 48 to 12, it's dividing by 4. Therefore, we don't have a b value of 4, but of 1 over 4. Once again, anytime you divide by a number, you write it as a fraction. You cannot put a divide sign in the equation. So your answer is y equals 768, the y-intercept, times 1 over 4 to the x. This equation represents this table. Alright, so a painting is sold for the first time for $1,400 and the value increases by 9% after it is sold each year. Write an exponential function to model the situation. F of t equals a times 1 plus and minus r to the t. So a is your initial value. In this problem, that's going to be the $1,400. Your r is referring to your percentage, but you can't put a percentage in an equation. You have to convert it into a decimal. So 9% as a decimal, 2 spaces to the left, fill in zeros. You're then going to have an equation that looks like this. F of t equals 1,400, 1, and then we're going to have 0.09 to the t. Well, this problem says it increases, so we need the plus sign because this is a growth. So this is one way to write your problem. An equivalent equation would be this, where you actually add the 1 and the 0.09, getting 1.09 to the t. Keep in mind that the 1 is referring to 100%. The 0.09 is referring to 9%. That's why this is a growth of 9% per year. These are equivalent. These are both ways you could write the equation. All right, given the function p equals 600 times 0.89 to the t, write an equivalent equation. Once again, this goes back to where you have a to the 1 plus and minus r to the t. So we have a value here that is less than 1. That means this is a decay. So we need to be using the 1, the minus sign, and the r. A is still the 600, just like you would expect it to be. So you'd have 600 parentheses t, 1 minus, because this is a decay, and then we got to figure out what the r is. Well, everything starts at 100%. This is a decay, so we're minusing 0.89 as a percentage is 89%. When you subtract, you get 11%. Therefore, the decimal of 11% is 0.11. This is equivalent to 600 times 0.89 to the t. They're the same equation written in two different ways. The first one's representing a decay of 11%. The first one's representing that whatever you do will be taking 89% will be remaining of the 600. Please keep in mind these are the same thing. Alright, so Altamont Springs has a population modeled by P equals 50,000 times 1.12 to the t, where t is in years after 2010. What is the initial value of the population in 2010? That's your A, your 50,000. What is the rate of growth? Alright, so we're looking at the 1.12. Keep in mind that the 1 before the period is going to be 100%. Everything after the decimal is another percentage. 0.12, when you convert into a percentage, is 12%. So you have a rate of growth of 12%. It's a growth because it's greater than 1. It's a growth because it's greater than 1.